continuing our evacuation of low-lying areas. And something to keep in mind if you're in a car or if you're just starting your evacuation now. You might be.
So everybody's just joining.
Oh, Call of Fire. So this is the Pango Elementary School and staff. Some of them, they evacuate my lungale mountainside of Pango Pango. Is this the school here? Oh, yeah. Oh.
Just joining us, there was an earthquake in the Pacific. It was at 8.0 and has generated a tsunami warning and advisory for both New Zealand and for American Samoa. American Samoa would be the first to get reached by a wave. This is a local resident on Facebook Live that's driving around town, showing different places.
Got note from Pacific Horizon School. All classes for Pacific Horizon School are continuing as normal. That school is just like Gaffe-O as well in the inundation area. There's no need for parents to rush to pick up their kids. Be safe. Stay out of low-lying areas. Stay out of the woods if you can.
Okay. I'm getting a report here too. I'm trying to get Solid Hans Malala on the phone here. He's trying to dial in, but we're going to try and chat up via Facebook Messenger. Here's a notice from the Port of Florida.
Hey girls, you guys okay? How'd you guys come? Oh, okay. All right.
She's passing through some of the schools, which have all evacuated to higher ground. The island itself has evacuation shelters, a high ground.
So this is the mountain side of Pango Pango. Lewa evacuate may uma kaile aya. Omo may lunga sa Philippines. You can see Matt mo lang ang lang. Matt mo lang ang lang. Agriculture 6 lang.
And Solid, are you still urging people to continue their evacuation plans?
To evacuate from beaches.
From beaches.
Yeah. Olo makala fo ile ra wala le sa lo kala mapai luar kana fo.
Okay.
You want to cut back in to go to Tafuna if you want to.
Yeah, but like coming into coming back.
Yeah, no.
So we're gonna head up this road over here, the Funnel T road.
Okay.
Look, cover. and will be up in the air. Joey.
Yeah.
Kailangan we government may only provide area going to allow cover going icon in the phone.
Pero cool me like sa wilingan. Faço solo me ka vari kung.
Oh,
Sacrifice.
I meant live coverage, but
Yeah, familiar.
but yeah, you can stand there to it.
Oh, you better hit it kana na phone.
Ooh.
Oh, Tsunami. Samsung, no.
Okay, all right, thanks.
In front of the church. They really need the church. You really need to go to church.
Yeah.
Hala nga may. No, iska may kila nga wala. Pepe maka may kipel. Lolo yawa. Wow, may shot.
Our crew here.
So we're coming inside tonight.
Yay, Sammy!
So lala mo, okay ka ko.
High five. Okay. We're here safe. Good luck, love.
We're coming to Kanana.
Okay, see you later.
Yeah.
Yeah, bye.
So it's good to know that Taffin High School and all the other schools within that area are safe and sound in Kanana Fall. We all made it safely. Traffic is a little bit better on this side. I'm going into Ottoville. And as you heard on the radio, South Pacific Horizon School right here. Classes are still in session because they are in a safe zone. Leave a sign by the real. It's not the time to give a fulfill aim at okay on the road.
Okay, got an update from our friends in Astica. Of course, Astica having its major building there in the close to South Pacific Academy. That will be supported operating out of the Economic Center. So if you need help from Astica, you can call 690.
That head-on collision, and if they're eating up both lanes of traffic. buses aren't KHJ listeners. They've got their own
Kaya evacuate may lumait.
and they might not know that we have since been downgraded.
Those buses aren't KHJ listeners. They've got their own radios or whatever that they're listening to.
We have to wait for the all clear.
But we
are not at a tsunami warning level, nor are we at a watch. We are at an advisory at the moment. That's the info that we've got there.
So, just got a message from somebody else that's
Area
O&O, and this, they use some very colorful language. It's a major catastrophe, I'm paraphrasing. People are using the eastbound lane to head west now. Speculation is that these people are stuck in the
This is another good evacuation site for our village. But we don't have as many people up here.
I see. Go back to the phones here, KHJ. You know, the threat is still there, but it's not as nearly as severe as.
We're right in the middle of downtown Bangkok here. And everything was calm. For the news, just came, went up and told everybody up the still was talked that it went on the lower.
Sure, yeah, that's definitely a danger. Somebody that's not thinking clearly is.
What? Tramway? Is there a lot of people up there? Yeah. So it's like, I don't think people are tuning into the radio. Right? And yung sa kang ka, yung may saman malamang ngayon, like, the mellow people lower down, great.
Taloma writes, tell people to pull off the road and breathe.
Right.
Amen. All right, yeah. Again, the threat level still exists. You know, we're still under tsunami warnings, but or advisory rather, but it's not nearly as severe as maybe what it was an hour ago. And we'll see what happens. According to they said they were projected 10-19. We also say good morning to Father Raila, who checks in, and also it looks like Kanana Fo is a full house. Their parking lot has a number of schools there.
Yeah, we're in a downgraded state, and we continue to get videos and stories.
Yearly tangi. So I feel like or somebody needs to come on Ile radio.
Morning all of yang maltato tunu ya fafitai lava o le fasalla ngale natu sa awatu ne timata ilali ne o sori awanga ya mawali ilwa po palipua so far bye.
Power will remain on, so that is comforting to know. Hello? Yes, I was just reading an announcement. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, okay. I got a question for you. Since the earthquake happened just New Zealand, whatever, have you guys figured out what part of the island would be the most impacted if this wave came in? I mean, the North Shore?
Oh, that's a nice question.
Southwest of us, so I don't have a map in front of me, but I mean, that's where the Kermadec Islands are in relation. But I was asking that question too. And I asked somebody, an expert, and they said that just due to the topography and the low-lying areas, and tsunamis are incredibly unpredictable anyway. Like, I mean, if you remember 2009, there were entire villages that were spared while other ones completely got it. So you would assume
Villages on the North Shore, like Fangasao.
You would assume everyone's at risk.
Yeah, those waves can wrap around and come at you from the other side too.
Right. Each tsunami is
unique. Because last tsunami, we had the
Have more on this coming up in just a bit, but for now, let's.
Will there be a tsunami warning or even an advisory? Then they will take more action. And in fact, there are people even here going out to.
And then change it to that.
You can't really track them. They just do what they want to do.
Well, let's pray that no village gets nailed.
Perfect. All right.
Thanks, man.
Safe, guys.
All right, bye-bye. Lori Poesi writes, Afono Mafa is crowded, but people are still driving erratically.
The procedure is if there is a tsunami warning, boaters will then know that they would have to basically get their boats ready, untie them, and head out to sea, make sure, because that basically is where the safest place is if a tsunami were to arrive here on Oahu. As far as how far away they need to go, and that's something that the boaters will have to determine. They have to go to pass where the waves break. So voters already, I'm sure, are already paying attention to what's coming up and making sure that, you know, if as far as from this tsunami watch, if it gets any more serious with a warning or even an advisory, then they will have to take action, go to their boats, get it all ready, get it ready to be out there and be out there until they give it the all clear sign. At this point, though, they're on a stay and watch and see what the next announcement will be, which basically, I guess, is a lot of what everybody else is out there who need to be concerned with something like this. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you very much, Manolo. And it is true. At this point, it is a waiting game for everyone, including a waiting game to see how much wave energy is fed into those dart buoys, and then the numbers crunched, and then we move on from there. At this point, we want to bring in an expert that we've had on our news for multiple years, Mr. Ed Teixeira. He is the former Vice Director of Hawaii Civil Defense at the time. And let's get Ed on the phone, Kelly. And Ed, let's start with, you know, you're very experienced in this type of situations and emergency situations. If you are in a tsunami inundation zone and you know that there might be a potential tsunami, what should your next steps be?
Well, hey, good morning, and thanks for having me on. You know, if you are in either you're living or working in a tsunami evacuation zone, and what you should be doing is just paying attention. You know, listening to the news, turn your TV on to your station, others, but you should be just monitoring the situation because we are in a tsunami watch. and once the Tsunami Warning Center determines that there is a damaging wave coming toward Hawaii, and then there's some decisions that Tsunami Warning Center in conjunction with the National Weather Service and above all, and most importantly in conjunction with
off of
State Emergency Management Agency, now called HIEMA, and with the county civil defense agencies, they've got to make a decision.
American Samoa, New Zealand, Hawaii,
when they're going to warn the public. How they're going to warn the public is through the outdoor warning, siren warning systems, as well as messaging.
Live streams from Facebook.
You know, it's been about
number 5, which
over
we're
5 years
listening to at
since
the
I've been in
moment,
government and doing this kind of business. But at the time,
Hawaiian
we had
station.
a policy that if Hawaii was to go into a warning, then the warning would be broadcast out or determined to be 3 hours out before wave arrival time. As you've mentioned, earliest wave arrival in Hawaii is 4:35 p.m., and that's a very delicate time when you think about, you know, most places are finishing their work, what we call pauhana. There's also whoever's in school these days, and I know it's a different mix of who's attending schools and all of that on this particular day, but it's a work day. So 4:35 is a very delicate time. So, you know, going to a warning by the book, it should be about 1:35 p.m., but it could be called earlier.
That is true.
And typically, in this situation, in any situation, when there is something major that could potentially be destructive here in the islands, it's a common response, it's a natural response potentially to panic. What should folks be doing at this hour?
Away from the shoreline. We're expecting this wave not to reach or over the land, but it will still provide
hazardous conditions for our seas. So please stay away from beaches and also the harbor.
Okay.
And stay safe, American Samoa.
And Salu, are you still urging people to continue their evacuation plans?
Yes.
To evacuate from beaches.
From beaches.
So we're not expecting, but it's we'll wait for Homeland Security to make that call.
I see.
For people to return back.
All right. All right. So that's audio there from Salu Hans Malala. And again, I'm just hearing that it's very, very dangerous at the theaters now, huh? See, are you seeing something?
Yes. I want to say thank you to Dee for sending in.
And when we say dangerous, this is, obviously we've got a danger.
Traffic.
Yeah, it's the traffic that is the most immediate threat right now.
Because people are using the lane, right? This is the lane going towards town. But
they don't care. Everybody's in a rush to get to their kids. If your kid is in Tafuna, is a student at Tafuna High School, they are safe.
And that's Leatele Elementary.
That they have been evacuated.
Evacuate may mga mapapasi.
They have reached Manumalo and they are okay. The teachers are with them, so no worries, please. But if you're on the road right now, you're pretty much, if you go past, is it Manulele? Manulele right up there, Aveina?
Yeah, that's
yes.
Manulele.
That's, you're in the clear. You could pull over or, to alleviate traffic, and so that you let everybody else that lives in the coastal area move too. So cops, please, officers, police officers, please get down there near the theater. There is people who are just driving crazy.
All right. Do I have this wrong? This might be DPS that is making traffic one way.
Oh wow!
Oh yes, it is DPS.
Not drivers that are doing both lanes.
Yeah, that's what she said.
I'm just, again, we're not there, and I don't want to assume the wrong thing. I'm just going by the information, but they're saying that DPS is the ones who are blocking and rerouting the traffic, and so that might be a
Lions Park
protocol that they've got going on.
Yeah, they have blocked off Lions Park.
Because Ethan had said that there were certain parts that were.
So we just passed 4 of the kids from Pangwa Elementary.
We were told too that they have blocked off Lions Park,
accountability
and everybody's riding this area. That's why there's traffic here.
Because the kids are by themselves.
Jay, good morning. You're on the air.
I don't know what they're doing up here.
Yeah, I just heard you. This is Ethan again. No, here there are traffic going both ways.
Excuse for your
So
lapis
many possible accidents. So if they're doing traffic up there was no cops bringing anybody. That's what they should do if they were going to try to bring people from the coastal road at the time, but it wasn't. It was just people, and then all of a sudden other cars, I saw them just pulling out and following each other, like follow the leader sort of thing. So here, it definitely was accident-prone potential.
All right, thanks, Ethan. Okay, there goes Ethan. I'm just getting another message. This one was sent.
That there's a large earthquake in the South Pacific. We do know that it could have generated a tsunami. If so, maybe some numbers that are being thrown around right now, 0.3 meters above the tide level. But we're still waiting on data from these dark buoys and from the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center to give us a better indication of whether or not the threat is imminent or real.
Yes, and if that did come through, we could potentially see some dangerous coastal flooding as well as powerful currents. So just make sure you are staying tuned to KH102. We'll have the latest on air and online and bring you the latest on this. But for those who are just tuning in, again, a tsunami watch has been posted for the entire state of the islands. We're continuing to track this as we may be potentially seeing the first arrival waves as early as 4:35 this afternoon.
All right, we do want to say thank you to Ed Teixeira for joining us once again. We always appreciate his insight. Ed, if you don't mind, we probably most likely would appreciate to talk to you at the top of the hour as well. We'll most likely be doing these top of the hour updates for you. Thank you so much, Ed. Appreciate it.
Be glad to. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, can we take a look at that one slide that shows, sorry, Kelly's closer to the
I got you.
weather computer. I'm not trying to be bossy. If we could take a look at the one slide that shows the Pacific, it's the one before this, and the distance.
The distance,
Yeah,
yes.
the distance from the islands, you know, very close to, it's Kermadec Islands is where the epicenter is, and it's about 3,700 miles to the state of Hawaii. So it's got a bit of a travel to do, despite the fact that these tsunami waves can go upwards of 500 miles per hour. But if you were to imagine taking a jet and flying from the South Pacific, you know, specifically from these Kermadec Islands, and then flying to Hawaii over 8 hours. So that's what we're dealing with. And as far as those buoys, there are one or two in the South Pacific that were placed there. Much of the buoys were actually placed along a line in the Pacific Rim in the West Pacific because of Japan and because of the earthquakes in Alaska and California. So it lined the entire Pacific pretty much from the West Coast U.S. all the way up through Alaska, Russia, Japan, and then down towards the Philippines. Those were put in there after the earthquake in Indonesia that caused such destructive damage. But there are some buoys in the West Pacific and in the South Pacific. It's just not as numerous as the other areas because the seismic activity compared to, let's say, Japan and Russia, it's much more active in that part of the world. So we're just glad to have that tool to give us a little bit of a heads up instead of, you know, a guessing game. And at this point, Kelly, do we have anything from Pacific Tsunami Warning Center? Any update from them?
No update for us here in the islands. We are still under that tsunami watch. There was an earthquake or an update though for Guam. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center is saying that no tsunami threat is going to be coming through for the Guam area from that very distant earthquake. So I'm just reading up Saipan as well. It looks like also in the clear, although they are saying that some minor sea level fluctuations may occur, but they're not going to be seeing any damages. So I was just reading up on what some of the other islands are going to be potentially experiencing.
Well, that's good news.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that we're out of the clear because if you look at the location of Guam, it's in the, you know, it's by the Philippines. And so even though Guam is in the clear, you know, New Zealand is in the clear. Both of those areas are in a different direction from the wave energy that Hawaii is supposed to get. Our wave energy is pretty much going to be from the south and the southwest of the Hawaiian Islands, and you know, and Guam is very. Guam would be to the northwest, or Guam's wave energy would be from the southeast. So it's a little bit of a different direction. So hopefully Hawaii will fall in line as well. And we've been told from the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center that they say further messages will be issued hourly or sooner as conditions warrant until the threat to Hawaii is past. So we do expect from them another message, and this would be tsunami message number 3 for the state of Hawaii. Perhaps another tsunami watch supplement or a notice that the tsunami watch will continue or not. So the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center didn't give a special time of each hour. They said further messages will be issued hourly or sooner. So I don't think there's a timestamp on that, if you will. So we'll have to just play it by ear. And of course, we'll update you regardless if it's at the top of the hour or any time there's any additional information. We'll make sure that we hang that on our website and do a push alert. So make sure you download the KHON2 mobile app.
And hopefully they can get some of the data from those buoys so we get a better look. But we will be knowing more within the next few hours, so make sure you stay tuned.
And the good news, technology has gotten much better. Computers have gotten much more powerful. We get numbers quicker. So as opposed to, you know, being in this situation even 5 years ago, we're in better shape.
Yes, and of course, we're continuing to work for Hawaii here at KHON2. We'll have the latest. Again, though, breaking news this morning, a tsunami watch has been issued for the entire state after an 8.1 magnitude earthquake off of New Zealand.
We'll keep you posted. Stay safe, and thanks for tuning in.
We're there in Malala. Fatuanga too, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Father Viola says that Fasal Maris kids are being evacuated. The parents are starting to pick them up now.
Why are they evacuated?
And sounds like hold music.
Isn't Fasal
Yes,
safe?
Sia, did you have anything else?
No.
Okay.
Oh. That's not all. It's away from the homes.
We don't need to go anywhere. Oh, we got a picture from Nat, who is stuck in traffic.
Oh, hey, Nat.
Yeah.
Thanks, by the way, for your helping me out off the air yesterday, Nat. Appreciate that. So where's Nat at?
It looked like he's in the coastal area. Not Nuuli, Abalu.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
my
if
God.
you are in that area, I mean, probably
Him
wouldn't want to
about
be right now.
pull over.
But if you
Nat.
have photos, please let us know. KHJ, you're on the air.
Jay?
Yes.
Yes. I'm calling from junior high school. Can you please make an announcement for all the parents that their child is attending junior high school to let them know that their child is being picked up at Safe Zone in Alamai.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, please,
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
All right, so there's some more official word there from our friends and families on the west side. Leone High School students have been evacuated, available for pickup in the Alamai area. You're on the air.
Sorry, good. So we're still having to do that where they're going in the opposite direction and causing all this congestion. But however, what first started it was was actually a governor's house vehicle that started going on the opposite side of the road. At first it had the alarm on it, and I saw black. I thought it was a police car. Then I looked, it had yellow plates, governor's house.
GH, right?
It had governor's house.
Well, which one was it, though? Because there's a couple of them. Was it 2 or 4? Or?
It was just one.
No, the license.
License plate said governor's house, and I was going like, geez, well, we know how fast they're going to say this behind.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Interesting info there. Appreciate that.
That's what I saw, and I've been hearing the movie for the past hour.
All right, well, hang in there.
Yes.
We're going to get through this.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Everyone stay safe.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
I got a picture here from Philo, our brother Philo. He is safe up the Nuuliuta by the waterfall. So, yes. Chillax. Don't go anywhere.
KHJ, hello?
Hello, John.
Yeah.
Hey, John. How's it going? This is Peter Taliba from Manu.
Hey, Peter. What's up, man?
I'm doing good. We're outside. All the leaves are drifting out between Awasi and Hawu. The whole school is up on the mountain with the elderly. But so far, so good. We don't see that there are much swelling between us and Awasi. Everything's looking good.
Okay, and you're calling from Mount Nuku, huh?
Yep. We're drifting out at Nafanua banks between right next to Taima banks with Alu Aliyah boats. We're on deep calling our boat, and we don't see that much swell. There's no difference, but just on the west side.
All right, just bring it right up to date. There was a 8.0 tsunami or 8.0
You haven't
earthquake
seen like the as I understand
near
it,
New
right
Zealand
before there's a tsunami, the tide
that
recedes and it almost the beaches become.
has brought about a bunch of tsunami advisories, warnings, and the possibility of tsunami waves to a large portion of the Pacific. Window 1 and 2 are people on American Samoa, which is about an hour and a half away from the epicenter at the rate of a tsunami wave, which is about 500 miles an hour. So far they haven't seen anything. Hawaii is also in the crosshairs of this. They'll know in about an hour and a half whether they'll be expecting a wave in about 3 hours. So I'm going to keep up with this. I'll come back live as soon as something happens. If it happens, just stay with us, and we will let you know as soon as we go live again. Thanks, bye.